football. It's personal between me and you, and I'm going to do you some serious harm, you big stiff idiot.
The untouchable True School Sports Empire proudly presents something the boxing game's been missing. Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. Now, this is my official post-fight review for Cesar Francis as he fought Jesus Saracho, and it's happened again. It has happened once again. The Mexicans are taking over ProBox. It happened once with Jonhatan as he lost to a Mexican, and now Cesar Francis, a guy that was, rated in the top 15 of the WBO at 140, was seemingly beginning to climb his way up. This fight was for the vacant WBO Latino Super Lightweight title, and he loses a very close fight to Jesus Saracho. So shout out to Saracho, and shout out to the fine folks at ProBox TV, man. It was a great card. I'm good friends with Chris Glover, who helps run the TV side of things, and I was supposed to be out there in Plant City for this fight. Life kind of happened at the last second, and I couldn't go, so I was a bit bummed out about it when I found out I couldn't go, but looking forward to getting to at least a couple ProBox shows this year, and it's gonna happen. It's on my list, on my agenda. But getting to the fight, right? Let's get to the main event, and then we will work our way down to some key parts of the undercard. So Cesar Francis was on a, he was paying his dues. He was coming off of 3 really good wins in a row. He had beaten the likes of former world champion Ray Beltran, a former Mohamed Mamon, who's a solid 140 pounder, and he was coming off of that devastating, destructive stoppage victory, which was ProBox KO of the year against Francisco Armenta with the uppercut. So he was coming in with a lot of momentum. He was 12-0, taking on a guy in Saracho who was 12-1. Saracho 12-1, very durable from Guanajuato. I think I'm saying that. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but Guanajuato, Mexico. All right, 11-1. Got stopped in his only loss back in March of last year to Deontay Brown, who right now Deontay Brown is 15-0. Good little fighter, good prospect. So other than that, it's been pretty much a smooth sailing for Saracho. So this was an evenly matched fight. And when the fight happened, I'm not gonna lie, I'm very disappointed in the performance of Cesar Francis. I'm disappointed in the approach that he took. I think the knockout that he had against Francisco Armenta has actually worked against him, because what winds up happening for fighters a lot of times when they get big knockouts or they find a punch that really works for them, they can sometimes go into future fights and believe in that power way too much, and they get away from the basics. And that's what I saw from Cesar Francis in this fight. I saw a guy who had an aggressive, southpaw, intelligent Mexican pressure fighter trudging forward towards him the whole fight. And he continued to throw that uppercut over and over and over again, missing and missing and missing. And he never really got it going. I mean, it landed here and there, but not to the way he wanted to. And then, when we look at his overall punches, like in the fight, like that he has in his skill set, his jab needs work. I think his straight right hand's, average, and his left hook is, I would say, slightly above average. But his best punch is his money punch, the umbrella. I call it the umbrella. Is the right uppercut. You know what I'm saying? So Saracho limited that punch landing, and he was able to have a lot of success, and he was able to get himself in position to where he was able to push Cesar Francis back. And as the fight went on, he began to get stronger and stronger. And truthfully, I didn't score the fight round by round, but I thought it was a fight. I thought it was a fight that could go either way. I thought it was a close fight. I'm a little surprised because there were some wide scorecards. I think, I'm not sure if it was one or two of the judges, but some of the judges had it 98. Like one judge had it, I believe it was 96 to 94, and then two of the other judges had it 98 to 92. Like they had 2 wide scorecards, or it might have just been one, but there was a 98-92 scorecard somewhere in there, and that was shocking to me, because I don't really think either fighter imposed himself enough for a scorecard like that to be handed out. But Saracho gets a decision. He takes down undefeated Contender. So now that he's won this regional belt and he's beaten the guy in the rankings, this should get him in the rankings himself. And it's unfortunate for Cesar Francis, because he would have a guy in Francis who, wasn't getting a lot of opportunities coming out that New York boxing scene. And it looked like he was a win or two away from a world title shot, or at least being in position to fight for eliminator or something like that, and now he's had a bit setback. So we're gonna really see and get a glimpse into the mental fortitude and the toughness of Cesar Francis, because it's not about what you do in victory that defines who you are as a man, but it's what you do in defeat. So best of luck to him. I still like him. I still want to see him again. I think he's better than he showed tonight, but he fell in love with his power, and it ultimately got him beat by a very hungry, very game, very determined Mexican fighter, and it's happened again. These Mexicans on ProBox, I don't give a damn who it is. I don't care if it's the guy that beat Zhu Ken, whose name I can't remember right now. I think his last name was Benitez. I can't remember his name right now, but the guy that beat Zhu Ken on ProBox, the Mexican, that was an upset. This was an upset. So listen, if you're a fighter fighting in the main event on ProBox and you get matched with a Mexican fighter, you best come to put your A game, because they're not gonna put you in soft. They're gonna put you in, a tough fight. And Cesar Francis found that out tonight. So that's what it is there. But just talking about the rest of the card, because there was a lot to talk about on this card. We'll get to the other co-main event and everything like that. But I want to take this time right here. We gotta talk that South Florida shit, man. We gotta talk about one of South Florida's very own. One of I would say out of all the fighters in South Florida, one of the people that I'm probably the closest to in South Florida. Someone that I've had the opportunity to watch his growth, and I've had a front row seat to his growth. I remember seeing him in the Davey Powell and losing fights in the amateurs to certain guys who were ranked above him in the U.S. rankings for USA Boxing, and then he became a national champion. He beat Fed Pacheco. Then he started sparring the likes of Philip Hergovich and Lawrence Okoli. Now he's 5-0 with 5 knockouts in the pros, and he's looking better and better and better month by month, and he's Beta Bay Boxing's very own, South Florida's very own, Hialeah, specifically Hialeah, Florida's very own, Lorenzo Medina. This is a big night in the career of Lorenzo Medina, because he's been fighting on a lot of these shows in Mexico and random places, but this represented to me, I think, the true start of his career, because he got on a good platform, ProBox. People saw him, they got a chance to get familiar with him, and it was an interesting fight. He took on journeyman Cleveland Billingsley, who had been stopped a couple times. Cleveland Billingsley III. 42 years old. He looked pretty hopeless. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna cap Lorenzo because he's my friend. The guy was there to be knocked the fuck out, and that's exactly what Lorenzo did. He folded him up but you know what? He made it entertaining. He put some sauce on it. He did showboat a little bit. He showed you a bit of everything. He showed you the defense. He showed you the left hooks, and eventually he got him out of there. Doubled up on some straight right hands and stopped them. So you look at Lorenzo Medina now. He's in a great place in his career. He's grown a lot since the amateurs, becoming a national champion, going from that to now sparring top heavyweights, to now, getting off to, I think, what's a great start, a dream start for his career, 5-0, 5 knockouts. I mean, you can't ask for anything better. So we'll see what happens. But good. I believe tonight he made a good first impression with a lot of people. I was talking to him on Instagram a little bit after the fight, and Lorenzo Medina actually met Riddick Bowe, who's also a good friend of mine and my favorite heavyweight. And Riddick Bowe apparently told Lorenzo Medina that he couldn't believe that he was 18 years old. And sometimes, even though I know Lorenzo, I feel like I don't even realize he's 18 years old, because, you look at him, you look at the way he prepares, you look at the way, because I had the privilege to watch him grow up in front of me. And he's still growing up. He's still 18 years old, but I'm saying from being 16, 15 now to being 18, I've seen him grow up in so many ways. But this kid is dedicated. This kid's not trying to, just be here and be a flash in the pan and not be a factor in boxing. No, this kid, people laugh at him, and people, there's a lot of people in the boxing industry that look at him, maybe being a smaller heavyweight, thinking that he's not going to be a factor in the heavyweight division. But I'm telling you right now, he doesn't beat himself. He dedicates himself. He lives the life. He doesn't mind going in the ring and sparring fighters of top caliber. He doesn't have the ego when it comes to that type of thing. He'll go in there and he'll get his ass beat by top fighters. But guess what? He'll come back better, and he'll grow. And that's why he's at where he's at, 5-0, 5 knockouts, and just slowly but surely, gradually, steadily getting better and better every month. And I think slowly maturing into one of the most exciting and interesting heavyweight prospects in boxing. So good showing from Lorenzo Medina. Great to see his growth. And bigger and better things are definitely on the way from the Giant Killer. Shout out to him and Jeff Poritz, Kevin Gleason, and the fine folks at Beta Bay Boxing. But also on the card, switching gears, you had a couple other fights, and I'll run through these real quickly. You had the Brazilian Jonhatan Cardoso, who is a prospect at lightweight, and Cardoso Brazilian fighter. You know, got some good punch power. He's 5'9", got some good size on 23. You know, he was coming off of a loss out there in Panama City to Juan Huertas, where he got knocked out in the first round. And he was taking on a very tough Mexican tonight, a determined one, and Jose Arellano. And Jose Arellano really made things tough on Cardoso. Cardoso, I think, began to find his range and pick his shots nicely. Showed a nice, great right hand down the stretch, and eventually showed enough separation to where you could give him the fight. But good win for him. You know, obviously, I think ProBox is going to step him up because now that you know he's a little seasoned, you know, ProBox isn't known for soft matchmaking, so I would expect gradual step-ups, good step-ups, and if he's not good, like we've already seen with a lot of ProBox fighters, we saw it tonight with Cesar Francis, we've seen it with Zhu Can, we've seen it with Hakeem Lopez. ProBox does not care. They will put you in tough, and if you're not the goods, you get found out, and that's how it works on ProBox, which is why I love their cards, you know, so you had him. And then you had a fighter who I've been hearing a lot about, another Mexican fighter who I've been hearing a lot about on this card, and he's like the Sebastian Fundora of 130. There was a fight at 130 or at, you know, catch weight, but you know he's a 130 pounder. Oscar Alvarez Guerrero from Mexico, I believe. You know, long amateur background. This was his 8th professional fight tonight. He was taking on the tough Dominican fighter Nicolas Polanco, who had fought Albert Bell. Albert Bell gave Albert Bell some solid rounds and durable guy. Alvarez came in here with a big amateur background. His amateur record, they said, was 665 wins, and I think it was like 12 losses or something like that. A long amateur background. And I know my guy, Guy Taylor, who works for Roy Jones Jr. Promotions, has been hyping him up a lot on Facebook, so shout out to Guy Taylor. But interesting fight. You know, he has the body frame of a Sebastian Fundora because he's 6'3" and he's fighting at like 130. You know, I don't know how that happens. You know, I feel like he needs to eat a lot more sandwiches and get some damn carbs and some protein going. But, you know, hey, if you can make the weight, you can make the weight. But my first impressions of Alvarez, you know, long, rangy. Got caught a little bit too much for my liking in the first 4 rounds. Kept his head on the center line. But, you know, as the fight went on, you know, I liked what I saw. I love the way he sat down on his punches to the body. He did a great job of digging to the body. And he really made his presence felt on Polanco as the fight went ahead and wore on. But then what wound up happening was that there was a head clash in the later rounds, and the fight went to the cards, and Alvarez gets the decision. But even though he didn't go the distance or didn't stop him, I like what I saw because he showed me enough to where I could say, okay, Alvarez, he has that know-how of how he has that professional know-how, because you can fight a lot of fights in the amateurs, 665, 700 amateur fights, whatever it was, damn near. And you could have a lot of amateur habits, and they can hurt you in the pros. This wasn't an issue for him. He looked like he had professional habits, and that's good for him because this is a guy that was gonna be a Mexican Olympian before COVID happened, and then he decided to go pro. So there's a lot of high hopes for Oscar Alvarez in the pros, and you know, good first impression tonight. I would expect ProBox to hopefully bring him back and step him up because that's just the ProBox style. And the last fight, and I'll end it on this note. Where you had Jorge Carlos, another Mexican fighter who was 3-0. He took on Anthony Michael Linenfeiser, and he just stopped him in 1 round. Very devastating, very destructive, high volume performance from him. So looking forward to seeing him and what ProBox is going to bring him back. So. You know, and by the way, I want to correct myself. He's not Mexican. He may have Mexican. I don't know if he has Mexican heritage, but he's actually, his box pick says he's from Kansas. So shout out to Jorge Carlos for doing this thing. Got a first round knockout tonight against the 4-17 Anthony Linenfeiser. So that's my take on the ProBox card, guys. You know, Cesar Francis, keep your head up. You know, Lorenzo Medina did his thing tonight in his TV debut, and Oscar Alvarez. You know, could have did better, but, you know, did enough to where I could say I think he's got some things going for him. So, yeah, let me know what you guys think. If you watch the show, let me know. If you have any opinions on Cesar Francis. Shout out to Jesus Saracho because he's upset the apple card, and he's now made himself a name and a player in the 140 division. And, yeah, you know, you guys know these ProBox shows get me excited. I was supposed to be at this show. I couldn't go because some things in my life happened that kind of prevented me from going. But, you know, we still watched it, and I hope to be at the next one. So, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Make sure you guys take the time to subscribe. And like I say in every single one of these videos. You can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Daniel. So until next time, take care, guys. Thank you for watching another video on the untouchable True School Sports Empire. For more great boxing content just like this video, click right here and make sure you subscribe. Much love from sunny South Florida.